Hello, everybody. Welcome to Marvel Movie News. Today, we're talking about Wolverine 3, X-Men Apocalypse, Spider-Man, Namor, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, and Thor Ragnarok. So much. There's a lot to talk about. Sit there. We'll be right back in a second.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk.
Oh, you want an MCU?
Welcome to Marvel Movie News, where we're coming to you live from the chamber of the Psyche Magnetron. No, that is some major nerd cred, I think, that I just gave us.
Deep cuts.
That is some
deep cuts.
If you're wondering, the Psyche Magnetron is what gave Carol Danvers her powers. Her Kree infused
and her
superpowers
hair.
And her hair.
Well, no, it didn't give her her hair.
It didn't give her her hair?
No,
That's,
her hair was awful for decades.
Fucking nerds.
In my mind, it instantly gives her that hair.
The binary hair, she looked like a member of like the Misfits from Jem and the Hologram.
You have no idea how to talk to a woman, do you?
Anyway, we are the Marvel Movie News, coming to you live from, well, I've already said that, where we tell you all the news from all the studios and why you should be as excited as we are. Subscribe to us on iTunes at Marvel Movie News, or find us at YouTube/Popcorn Talk Network. You can also find us on their website, Popcorn Talk Network. Follow us on Twitter at Marvel News PTN or at The Popcorn Talk. Also on Facebook, /Marvel News Show. Follow us and like us. And if you guys will tweet a link out to our show with a message telling people about the live chat, Doom in the booth will retweet you.
Doom demands your tweets, as always.
He is tweeting live from Latveria.
Yeah.
Is that a Doom bot or is that actually Doom?
No, it's Doom actual. It's Doom Prime.
Doom Live.
It's Doom Live.
It's Doom talking.
I am Matt Key at the Matt Key. With me, as always, is Coy Gendro at CoyJandreau. And we are joined by Maria Ray and Taliesin Jeffy.
What? In the house?
Yo.
So where can we find people? Where can people find you? Well, let's start with Marisha because she's on my left. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Marisha_Ray. Please do not tweet at Marisha Ray. She gets inundated with a bunch of Keyleth fan art, and I feel so bad for her.
And who is Keyleth? Why don't you tell people who Keyleth is?
Keyleth is my character on Critical Role that Taliesin Jaffe joins me on, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors play Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
And then Taliesin over here actually is also my current host on Signal Boost.
And Signal Boost is a show where every episode, a cool person shares a bunch of stuff you may not have heard of in a kind of funny and kind of amusing way. We're pretty funny. We think we're funny. I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I don't really care what anybody else thinks of our jokes.
No,
They're awesome.
we totally take the Monty Python approach, and we're just like, well, this makes us laugh, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah,
That's really the only way to do comedy, because you can't guess what everyone else is going to laugh at.
There's
exactly.
no way.
No, I can hear the crickets laughing, and that's really all that matters to me.
You guys have friend of the show, Hector. Hector's on there, right?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Hector
we love
was on
Hector.
there as well.
And
He's great.
I'm actually going to record some episodes.
Yeah, this
coming
is.
up.
Oh man, yeah.
And I know obscure things, so if they find my phone number, it'll all be about Ben Foster.
But what's funny, I'm trying so hard to come up with stuff that I'm just like, man, like coming up with stuff to talk about on Signal Boost, I'm like, I'm the most boring person alive. Like everything I love is like corporate. Like I like Doctor Strange and Marvel. Can I do all of the episodes on that?
Dude,
Like,
I've been to your house. You're not that boring.
You just referenced Captain Marvel's birthplace as a thing, man. That's not like a pop culture like norm in corporate America.
And
Which is
I'm
what
sure you can get
I was
around
told.
that. I'm sure that you can overcome that problem. It'll be okay.
It's
know.
hard to get around.
Let's talk
corporate.
about-
But yeah, you can find me at executive.goth since I am supposed to do that. At executive.goth
go
on
on.
Twitter or but in the alley behind the CVS over on Magnolia.
oh yeah, you're there all the time.
I am. I'm sitting there with a script to sell. It's great.
A few
like every
Hollywood stars
writer,
maps.
like every writer.
I want Matt Key on the show to be like, and I'm talking about classic Coke.
Guys, Crystal Pepsi, bring it back, all
The
right?
whole thing.
I am so down for Crystal Pepsi. I lived off that stuff in,
Oh my
in
God.
freshman year of high school.
They brought it back.
Did they?
Yeah.
Bring it all back.
Ish. Yeah, the 80s
Kind
and
of
90s are
ish,
in a
yeah.
resurgence.
God, it's
Are
just
any of
the
us upset
worst.
about it? I'm not.
I'm not.
No, the
I'm not
80s and
complaining.
90s are pretty good for me.
The LA
Yeah.
Beast ran that whole campaign to try and get it back. That guy who does all the eating dare challenges on YouTube.
Did he?
Yep.
Bless him.
Yeah.
Bless that boy. All right, well let's jump over to our headlines from the Daily Bugle.
Oh boy.
First of all, we're going to talk about Wolverine 3. We're the first pics of Wolverine on set. have showed up. Now, here's a Doom. Can we get those pictures up real quick? I know you're working vigorously to do that. I don't know quite what we're looking at in these pictures. Here's why. Well, it's Hugh Jackman with a beard in a suit outside of a limo. I don't know if that means that Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is now a limo driver. In Wolverine
Or maybe
3,
this was just like a paparazzi photo.
or if this is a paparazzi photo of Wolverine or Hugh Jackman as he arrived on set.
Or that's just
But-
like Les Mis.
It's-
Like he's just
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to set.
They're doing an X-Men Ocean's 11, which I'm really kind of down for.
Very handsome.
That would actually probably be better than Apocalypse,
That
which
would-
I say as a person who enjoyed X-Men Apocalypse.
I haven't seen it yet, and I'm trying hard not to speak ill of things I have not seen.
I
may fail.
did not think it was as bad as everyone said.
I got a lot of not love last week for not loving it.
So you learned to keep your mouth shut today.
It's the first movie that, like, besides Age of Ultron, that since I've done the show that I haven't enjoyed. And you know what's wrong with not enjoying everything? Having an opinion.
Yeah.
No, I
Like,
get
it's
it.
just
but
like
you didn't enjoy Fantastic Four.
no, but everyone did enjoy Fantastic Four.
That's
It's
true.
like
So
saying
it's the
like,
first movie
Yeah, it's
that everyone
fine.
enjoyed that you did not.
you know what's bad? Cancer. Like it's just like you can say a fact that's just true. But like X-Men was just the first thing where I had an opinion that wasn't like the world, and it was just like
Cancer raised me. I'm just saying. It took me
a
in
whole
when no
thing.
one else would.
kept you on nice.
So anyway, so Wolverine 3. Speaking of cancer, Wolverine 3. No, but so we've got these pictures out from just Jared, and a lot of other places picked them up. But it shows Hugh Jackman standing outside of a limo. Again, I don't know. Like, it's either he's coming to set or he's a limo driver in
As
the
pretentious
future.
as we like to believe all celebrities are, most of them don't arrive to set in limos.
It'd be so weird.
It was so
No,
weird.
exactly.
It's really
Like,
weird.
and that's like. Maybe it's not. I guess it is. It's a limo.
It's a-
right?
it's a- it's
is
a-
it a limo or
it's
is
a
it just a
limo.
really
There's-
nice town car?
It looks like a limo hearse.
To be
Anyone else
fair,
get that?
it also looks futuristic. I think this is in the movie. I think
Yeah.
this is definitely something. I think it's him arriving to a place. My theory is that a bad guy has requested him. They sent the limo, the whole classic mafia thing. This is him arriving confused. He's looking around. What's going to happen? Am I going to be ambushed?
That's not a bad guess.
That's what I imagine.
I've got two really cynical things that I'm going to point out, then, which are a great way
executive goth. Please do.
Because I go sharply between cynicism and optimism, and both of these things exist in me.
Yeah.
I would want to find out what car that is and whether or not they have a deal with the studio, because every car that shows up in a movie like this paid to be there.
Yeah, true.
So I would be curious.
True.
And B, the license plate. The license plate will tell you where that car is from, and if it's from a real place and a real license plate, that's where this scene is taking place. Because they would make a fake license
interesting.
plate for
No,
anything
it-
else. Is that
Well,
upstate
it
New
looks
York?
like it's either New York or
It's-
California.
It's Texas.
It's Texas.
Texas?
Which suits the old man Logan theory. I definitely think this is. I definitely think this is what's happening.
There
So,
you
like,
go.
in the future of the X-Men universe, Wolverine becomes a limo driver.
He's
like, I'm not gonna put my clothes anymore.
He's
You're so
Ubering,
set
man.
on
He's
this.
just working on Uber.
I really feel like this is
Gotta
just
pay
your
for
own like
things.
personal fantasy that
I
you
really
want
wanna
like to play out.
All right, I just want you to think about this. You get in a limo. You're excited, like you're a high school student. You're like, we're going to prom, and we were in a limo. My
knew
dad
it.
is great. This is amazing. And you look in the rearview mirror to see the driver, and he's like, hey, bub, where you going? Like, that to me is hilarious.
Don't you touch that mini bar. Don't you
The reason Matt couldn't make the show last week is he was sitting at home giggling about Wolverine driving a limo. He's just like,
Matt, you're joking, but like if that was the start to like a road trip comedy with Wolverine and a bunch of high school
Right?
students,
Right?
I'm in.
Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Quentin Quire doing a road trip in a limo
yes.
across Texas.
So on board.
Where
board.
what are those awful group of mutant hunters that are like from Australia? I hate them. They're terrible. They make a great film.
What, the Reavers?
The
The one-
Reavers. Oh,
the Re-
yeah.
the Reavers
are in the movie.
They are.
Yeah.
I'm down. Now they're the worst.
Yeah, we recorded
they
that
are
last week.
They are the absolute worst.
I
And they
can't
just-
stand them either.
they just popped up in Old Man Logan, the new book.
Yeah.
So like clearly
behind.
Marvel's like, remember these weird dudes.
Yeah.
Put them in. Put them in. Quiet like. Yeah, they're 100% in the movie because they're like.
Anyway, so that's Wolverine 3. Let's move on. Let's move on to more
Quiet,
pleasant
like-
things, like the controversial X-Men Apocalypse poster. Very, very excited to talk about
Yeah, we have to.
this. Yeah, we have to.
We have to.
absolutely have to.
I feel like I'm like strapping on boxing gloves.
All right, so this is very much like a controversial thing. Fox. So okay, there were posters around Los Angeles. I'm sure that they were all over America. I don't know because I haven't been there. I only live in LA. But
the bubble that is Los Angeles.
The bubble that is LA. But the picture showed Apocalypse holding up Mystique and choking her, and that sparked some controversy. Now, we will say, in the context of the film, this poster makes complete sense.
Sure.
Because that's what happened in the film. But out of context, it rubs some people the wrong way. Especially Rose McGowan, actress who posted about it on her Facebook page, and it got a lot of steam. And then I think Deadline reported on it, Hollywood Reporter. It became a big thing, and Fox issued an apology for it. Here was their apology. In our enthusiasm to show the villainy of the character Apocalypse, we didn't immediately recognize the upsetting connotation of this image in print form. Once we realized how insensitive it was, we quickly took steps to remove those materials. We apologize for our actions and would never condone violence against women. Executive Goth, what do you have to say?
Okay, I just want to start with this because I just want to get this baseline of sanity out before we all lose our minds. Which is everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yes.
Opinions are great as long as you understand. And everyone's entitled to be offended. I love that people can take offense because then I'm offended that they're offended, and then everything's fine, and that's great. And these posters were made by a committee of 60 people trying to design an extremely dull image that offends nobody to get the most people into the movie theater to see a movie designed to please the most number of people humanly possible, and somehow they still failed, and that's apparently a thing.
That's the most impressive thing about this entire story.
Can I point out something that isn't controversial at all before I talk?
Yes.
His arm's like a foot too short.
How does he drink?
Look how short his arms are. He's got little T-Rex
he's got,
arms.
like,
Man,
fuck up
they
with
had
his
to deal
elbows
with
having
like
a
a
beard.
20 by 10 foot
So they like shrug his arm a
dimension,
lot.
okay?
Once you see that, you can't unsee it. It's really irksome.
Oh, that's
Well, it's Apocalypse, so technically,
power.
like, he's like,
he does have that power to like shrink and
He can
expand.
put- he can
control
put his
muscles.
elbow
Yeah.
anywhere.
Didn't use it in the movie, but in the poster, he's all like... All right, back to controversy.
Back to okay, go for it.
But Lord, I tried to divorce this from as much context as possible, and I just couldn't. I just keep seeing a giant Egyptian stone statue killing a Smurf. I just can't. I can't bring it base enough.
My thing, man. I mean, we could talk for hours about this, and ultimately, you're correct. Everyone, I guess, is entitled to their opinion. My problem is when people's opinion starts to invade. Everything.
When
Everything.
CNN's like, people are mad at stupid things.
Right.
I'm like,
When it
CNN people are
invades-
dying over real
Yeah,
things.
that's the thing when it invades your creativity, when it invades censorship, when it invades pop culture, when it invades my Twitter hashtag. Like, it's too much. And my problem is exactly like you said, when we make problems, and once again, whenever a issue like this comes out and then it's under the guise of being a feminine issue, and then the people are upset, and then it just makes the movement that is feminism look like complete and utter assholes, when once again, like I said, we have bigger problems.
Every other problem.
Every
like there's thousands
other
of...
problem, including other female issues in Hollywood.
They mentioned one.
They mentioned one.
The
Rose
letter.
McGowan mentioned one that has nothing to do with this.
All right, well,
which is the female directors.
Let me read the last part. Like Rose McGowan wrote a big thing on Facebook. I highlighted just the last part of it. Imagine if it were a black man being strangled by a white man or a gay male being strangled by a hetero. The outcry would be enormous. So let's right this wrong, 20th Century Fox. Since you can't manage to put any women directors on your slate for the next 2 years, how about you at least replace your ad?
Well, what are the movies about if that's happening on the poster? Like, again, like, but it's that's kind of my question there is like, there's... How would you define a hetero and gay man
gay male
on a poster?
Yes.
Like, what signals would you be sending in the poster to signify that? Like, what,
I mean, the only thing I can think of would be like offensive in and of itself. Like,
Yeah, everything would be a
I
cartoon.
know there's a
rude.
caricature of it, and I mean, like, do you remember those Strain posters that went up for the Strain with the
Yes,
eyeball and the
with
worm?
the eyeball worm,
I was
yeah.
so glad they took those down.
Those were uncomfortable.
That bothered me. I was like, I can't imagine being 7 years old and like running into that. So like, I know that I have that line, but
Can I,
yeah, please.
I've been called a social justice warrior more times than I can count, and I take that with pride because I think we need more warriors for social justice. So thank you, trolls. But on the flip side, I think if we want women to be taken as equals, then they should be treated as equals. And if this was a man choking a man or a man choking a woman, that shouldn't be the conversation, because that's a fight between superhero beings. And if it's going to be casting the two people you want to advertise, the new villain and Jennifer Lawrence, who they've made the lead of the X-Men, then if we make it a commentary on her being a woman, that is sexist, and that's the problem. So if you want equality, have equality. If you want there to be a conversation about an ad, then make it about that, not about your petty squabbles with Fox.
100%. 100%. I totally agree. Because, like I said, when you look at this, and I highly disagree with everyone saying, like, well, if you take this out of context, that image has plenty of context.
Yeah,
and once again, like you said, even if if I'm removing all knowledge that I have about the X-Men, like you were saying, stripping all of it, I still see someone who, this is clearly a fantasy setting. Clearly these people are mutants. Clearly these people are superheroes. And what's so sad about this entire thing is that they've worked so hard to put Jennifer Lawrence in this position and in giving her. And the irony about all of this is that Jennifer Lawrence has probably done more to shed light on women's issues in Hollywood
herself
as a person,
all of the awful things that happened to her, and her being strong and smart about it.
Right, exactly.
She's
Over the past
in
2
that.
years, she's probably done more for women in Hollywood. So the fact that they're targeting this ad, which includes Jennifer Lawrence, I just find the whole thing very ironic.
Do you guys remember like the most iconic scene of Ripley and the alien?
Oh, with the
That's a male alien, right? Because the queen is therefore female. Are we upset that Ripley was choked by a male alien? That's the level of retarded this is.
Yeah.
Like, are we upset that because they were inferring that alien as male, that this is sexist because Ripley had to handle her? No, we want strong women. If you want equality, you want them to be able to fight. You want them to be smart. You want them to handle their own. This is showing she's
awesome.
that.
And,
so
right. And you kind of have to sell a movie about philosophical metaphors fighting out in actual conflict by showing metaphors fighting out in actual conflict.
That's
There's really no other way to.
That's what I thought.
There's really no other way to like. It is literally people punching each other to see who's right for 2 hours. Like that is legitimately what the movie is.
And this is a woman who objectified herself to a level of strapping a gun to her leg in a movie and becoming a literal object.
In which her name was Cherry.
I mean,
can we point this out?
And
this was her
for it.
last.
And bless her for it.
You're talking about Rose McGowan.
And I fucking love that film.
It's a great
movie.
I liked her in
those things. So
I like her in
now
those
and just
things.
be like, hey, remember I'm alive? Let me say a thing.
Dude, right?
Like, I just...
Come on, man. There's
it's
so
a moot
much.
point that we turned into a topic because we're trying to distract from the fact that we have an election coming up wherein we're gonna die. Like, it's literally being like, look at that horrible thing, not this horrible thing that affects us.
Right, right.
Like, actually affects us. And by the way, if you live in California, go out and vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, just do it. It doesn't make any sense to... We're talking about it on this show, and I feel dirty.
No, we got a skibbity bop.
Please.
Final thoughts.
Excellent.
I believe in the future, and I don't know if I've never been called a social justice warrior, but I definitely think
Now you will.
I'm a social justice gardener at the least. I'm happy to dig in and plant some seeds.
I think the biggest thing we should learn from this poster is that we need anatomically correct arms.
And
not Tyrannosaurus arms.
And when did Mystique become a hero? That's just still I miss her as a villain.
I miss her as a conniving villain.
I guess my
Apocalypse is still
final
weird.
thought, which this was might be one of the more controversial things I'll probably say on the whole thing, is if you look at that poster and it triggers or gives you any type of anxiety, you need to put down the pen and stop writing Fox and write your therapist. That's what I'd say.
I just think that this SJW movement is just people being uncomfortable with opinions that aren't their own, and that's okay, and that's important. I just think that taking it out on people you don't know and on movements that you don't know enough about isn't the way to go. I don't know enough about feminism to talk about it. I know enough about what I think equality means, and I think equal means equal in every sense of the word.
I just try not to be loud at people.
All right, let's move on to Spider-Man: Homecoming. Got through it. Okay. Well done, people.
We did it.
We did it. We got through it.
Michael Barbieri has joined the cast of Spider-Man: Homecoming. There's no name on who he's playing. All we know is that he is a 14-year-old kid who just did his first movie, whose name I cannot remember.
Michael Barbieri.
Michael Barbieri. He's only done one other film. He's also currently recording the series with the Stephen King series. I'm blanking on it. With the Dark Tower. He's doing.
Oh, right.
Oh, nice.
He's in Dark
That's
Tower. Yeah, here he is. It's this kid. This kid. He's 14 years old. He's in the Spider-Man Homecoming film. No word who he is, but comicbook.com is claiming that he is playing Ganke, who is Miles Morales' best friend.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
He's not.
He's a little skinny.
I don't think
He's a little thin.
He's also a little not Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
he's a
man.
Harry. He's looking like a
He
Harry.
looks more
to
like
me.
a Harry to
You
me.
think he's a Harry
I
Osborn?
think he's a Harry Osborn.
Yeah?
He doesn't look like Yankee at all to me.
He gives me a
Harry.
Harry Osborn vibe. I think someone just picked up the wrong issue of Spider-Man, was looking for a teenager.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Instead of thinking young Harry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Young Harry would be cool.
because I would love for the other kids to show up in Spider-Man. But
Yeah.
I think that
Also, why would Genki show up in Peter Parker?
Well, so that's the thing is if he shows up, does that also mean that we're going to have Miles Morales running around in the hallways?
that
Like, are
implies
they
they're
doing
the same
like
age, which would be not.
Well,
Yeah.
but if this kid is 14 and Tom Holland, I think, just turned 20.
but he don't look 20.
No, the whole
No, he
point is
doesn't
that he's
look
playing
20,
in like a
but
sophomore.
he's playing like a sophomore, so like that would mean like Miles Morales would probably be like a year behind him, which
Doesn't.
that-
He's a
that
legacy
could
character.
work. He's a legacy character.
So
I
if he's
get
a
it.
year
I'm just-
younger, it's like, hey, Spider-Man, that's almost identical to me, except that we're like, no, that doesn't like,
Yes.
hey, this is so great, man. This, no.
No,
you-
that makes
I-
sense. It makes sense to me, and I don't think he is Ganke, by the way.
No.
Like, I'm not saying that he is. I'm simply saying what the rumor is, what comicbook.com is reporting. Like, they had sources who were like, he's Ganke. Ganke. How do you say it? Ganke?
I love
Ganke?
it's like there's those
Ganke?
words that you've only read and never heard out loud.
Yeah.
Can we get Bendis in?
Bendis, get in here.
I agree with you guys. I don't think that's Genki, or however we want to pronounce
Yeah,
it today.
Ganke.
But the idea of a Miles Morales being just a few years younger than Peter
Yeah,
could be
that's
really
a-
cool. If they're going to do something where it's... Because this is all supposed to be in high school. Like, the
Yeah.
trilogy of these Spider-Man movies is supposed to be high school. What if we introduce Miles as a freshman. When Peter's a senior?
I wouldn't
yeah.
want to introduce Miles until at least the second film,
Yeah,
and then maybe
I
the
agree.
third, or like just introduce him to the third and have him pick up the
and
mantle in the third
and
film.
I, honest to God, believe that we're gonna see Peter Parker die in the third movie.
That would be great.
I really think we will. I think we will. Like, I would actually be more surprised if we didn't,
Yeah,
because then you've got Miles Morales, who takes over the
for
next
3 more
trilogy.
films.
Well,
yeah.
then if you believe that, then I think it's 100% plausible that they could be setting that up.
I think they're setting that up. I just don't know that they will set it up in this film.
Well,
like, I think they need to give Peter Parker his film,
yeah, or
then
2.
maybe start setting up,
Well, then you
the
hit.
next
Well, then you can
Spider-Man.
hit Phase 4, and like that could be a whole Marvel Phase 4. Is then we get female Thor, we get we get Falcon Cap.
I absolutely
like-
think Phase 4 is going to become all new, all different.
Is all new, all different, and like
Yeah.
I would kill for Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
I am
yeah,
so
Miss Marvel.
I am
Yeah.
so ready
That's
for Miss Marvel TV
right.
series.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh
wouldn't,
my God.
wouldn't Phase 2 be, at this point, I guess it would only be like Spider-Man 2, right? So
Spider-Man.
There's a bunch of
yeah.
unannounced films, and I think Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3 is they're probably going to do them in fast succession before he starts looking his age.
Yeah, very true.
I feel like we need a lot of this. I want Boyhood with Spider-Man. I want to see.
Yeah.
I want Harry Potter more accurately with Spider-Man. I want to
Yeah.
see like a series of films where he ages, he grows up, he turns into a thing. I don't want to rush to Miles as much as I want Miles. I would
Yeah.
much rather have a separate universe with Miles, or like the animated series with Miles.
Yeah.
Like I want to have Miles get his due, but I don't want to rush through Peter Parker to get to Miles.
I agree with that. I agree
So
with
so
that.
much of what makes Miles is the death of Peter Parker.
Exactly. So that's why if you have him a year younger, it's like, hey, that guy I grew up with and totally knew the whole time, and is like, it just doesn't have to say.
Can't know him. He can't know him.
It's got to be his hero, not his bro.
Well, then
Yeah, that's a good point. It's got to be a hero
It's got to
worship
be
sort of
someone
thing.
because he
yeah.
doesn't know how young he is until he dies. No one
Yeah.
does. So if he's just like a guy that he knew in calculus, you're like, "What's up, brah?" And that doesn't really like.
But kind of going like off of that, I could 100% see them setting up some sort of Harry Potter type of lineage. Let's find a film. To be honest, like Marvel needs a film where we have a coming of age story
Absolutely.
for the younger audience. Why couldn't that be Miles?
Oh,
Because we already got it with Tom Holland. We already
No.
had. Why would you do it twice in a row?
Yeah, we're doing it with
Yes,
Spider-Man.
yes.
So, but I do think we're
But
going to
they're
get
just
Miles
starting him off
Morales,
so
like-
young.
Well, I think that's the point. Like, if you do two coming of age movies back to back, it's like, remember when Spider-Man became a man again? Like, it's just like, okay, we get it, Spider-Man. So I think that it'd make more sense to have like 5 or 6 Tom Holland. Let us have the evolution of Spider-Man we've all wanted. That's the character that like the world identifies with and agrees.
I'm seeing Harry in that guy's.
I see
that kid's
Harry,
face.
personally.
I see Harry.
Especially
I see
that
Harry.
picture.
Yeah, he looks.
Yeah.
He looks like his dad's mean. Sorry. Sorry to your real dad.
Sorry,
I'm sure
Michael's
he's great.
dad. I'm
Sorry,
sure he's a
Michael's
great-
dad. I'm sure you're great. But like, that's just a weird picture.
I also
Yeah.
don't think it'd be fair to cast Genki as this kid because I love that Genki, more SJW talk, is an overweight younger kid that has that. Like the newest issue is him talking about how Miles never understood what it's like to be overweight or deal with those issues and all those
Oh,
things.
I love that. I love that issue.
I think it's great. And then they're like, what if we get this handsome kid?
This handsome 14-year-old.
Maybe we should negate everything he stands for.
Yeah.
What if like Angel like death metal and Cyclops was a punk kid instead or something like that? Fox.
All right, let's any closing thoughts? We've got to move on to talk about Namor.
If you're gonna make comic movies, read comics.
If you're gonna make comic book movies, make comic book movies about the comic. Like, figure out what the comic's about.
Well,
It's not.
first,
It's not
yeah.
about a superpower.
Yeah.
The superpower's a metaphor. Understand that,
Yeah.
and don't think of us.
It's a metaphor.
Well, a metaphor is kind of like.
Is it when a man loves a
There you
woman
go.
very much?
I love
Skip it
people
about-
just like to
Skip
explode.
it up. Skip it up. It is
You
skip it.
completely
Special
threw me.
effects
Well
guys.
done. I was just like
Skip
here,
it up,
and then
skip
I
it
was.
up.
Skip it. So Namor, according to Joe Quesada, the Namor rights are at Marvel. Like he said that on the Fat Man and Batman podcast, which I produce.
Love
Oh
that.
boy.
But he said, yes, as far as I know, we do. Yeah, it's not at Fox. It's not at Sony. So Marvel owns the rights to Namor.
All right.
That's really exciting because
It actually kind of is.
I think it's like the first acquisition that we've gotten that wasn't like assumed.
Yeah.
Like I feel like every acquisition's like, so we burned a hole in your living room and we'd like to, will you fix the hole and then have your house back? Like
Yeah.
this is just like, oh, that guy that's been hanging out on a shelf, we can
do it. Oh, great.
it
Thank you.
feels less like an apology.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's nice.
Yeah, like the fact that Spider-Man has the subtitle Homecoming, I
Right.
feel like is kind of like a shot.
There's
like,
no
bit
jabs.
of a shot, yeah.
Namor's just like, oh, I'm relevant. Let's do
Oh,
this.
yeah, let's bring me back. So there's been a big outcry online, though, that if they do have Namor, and we do decide to do a Namor film, please can he be Asian? Like, please, like...
I don't see why not.
I don't see
Exactly. Why not? Why
There's
not?
nothing. There is nothing in his character DNA that is
Yeah.
that is relevant in that direction.
And it is about time that we have, like, a lead protagonist in a film that
Although-
is portrayed by an Asian. Like,
In my opinion, he's not nearly as interesting as a protagonist as he is as an antagonist.
Agreed.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I've always liked him best as he's always been kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah.
And I
I
love
want to
anti-heroes.
see him as the villain in the Black Panther
oh my
movie.
god, that would be so like, but like he's like a sympathetic villain in a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of ways because he's like fighting for the survival of his Atlantean race. Like,
Exactly.
so there is something to be said for like he's an antagonist, but he's not really a villain. Like early on, yes, he's a bit more of a
He's
villain,
just a
but like
terrible person.
He grows into like this, like he's a bit of a terrible person, but his like heart in some ways is in the right place in terms of protecting his Atlantean race. Like
He's an awful person.
No, I always kind of
Such
look at the Atlanteans like the Dothraki. He's like the Khal Drogo, but like the Marvel universe.
the Khal
He's just like,
Drogo
my
of the
people,
sea.
God, get out!
Some sort of Aquaman, you're saying.
You know, like
I'm here to
weird.
take your lands and sleep with your women. Is really
Yeah.
kind of his vibe.
Yes. So we have.
It could be a cool thing to put him in, like, if a Phase 4 New Avengers project came up, like, after Infinity, that sparked the rising of the Atlanteans.
Or give him a heel turn. He would be a great like villain turn hero, which they haven't done yet.
I'd love to see like an inverse Breaking Bad. Like I'd love to see someone go from someone that's despicable to likable.
Oh yeah, he would be great to be like a
He would
villain
be
for an
perfect
Iron
for
Man
that.
or a Black Panther film, and then
Yeah.
like the next time he comes around and now he's a member of the Avengers.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
And like to have an anti-hero that's like we had the Punisher who is an anti-hero and then some, but it'd be cool to have someone that's like a superpowered anti-hero that's also
Yeah.
got a regalness. We've got like Punisher was a broken anti-hero. We understood where he's coming from as an underdog standpoint.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting to have like an
A
overdog.
leader. Yeah.
Like someone
Someone
who
who's
was
in
like
charge.
the highest above us.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't identify with him at all.
Totally.
And I think like one of the more, I might be getting my stories mixed up, but I think when the Masters of Evil first like when they took over Avengers Mansion, it was in part due to like the controversy about the Avengers allowing Namor into their ranks after Namor had just like flooded the entire eastern seaboard with the Atlanteans, and America was like, wait, no, he was a bad guy, and now you're making him an Avenger? Like, no. And the Masters of Evil snuck into. I think that's how it happened.
Well, and
so it'd be interesting to see that.
And I love that he was a member of the Illuminati and the Cabal. Like literally, he has just been like the guy who helps run things no matter who's in charge.
Yeah.
He's that awful.
He's half, right? He's half Atlantean, half human.
Yes,
I think so.
I
yeah.
would love if like the Atlanteans were of Eastern descent. It'd be cool to have like an entire race and actually like represent a whole culture that doesn't have their hero yet. So I think it'd be cool to go that way, and then you can have, like we were saying, actors like Daniel Day Kim would be incredible.
Yeah, he would be great.
Like, I would
He'd be
love.
great.
He's got dim cheekbones. Like
I
he'd
like
be,
him
and
so much.
like I'd love him for that.
I would watch him at like 0% body fat being smug.
Dude,
Yeah.
there's a world people want to see that man in a Speedo, just green skin Speedo.
And like the wings on his heels.
Yeah, dude, all about
love
it.
it.
I
Helping
think
him
he'd be
fly
perfect.
through the sea.
He's also an incredible actor. Like,
Yeah,
so
he is.
as long as it's not stunt casting with race is the worst thing you can do.
Objectivity aside, he's
Objectivity
great.
aside, also good actor with his 19 pack.
There's only a short list of people who can legitimately play these characters. There's a physical demand for these characters.
Right.
It's really intense.
And there's also like, I imagine a very strong physical demand to be able to swim. Like, so I hope that's like a factor because there'll be some underwater
We
stuff.
have computers for that, please.
Well, I want to point out that on our
Yeah, drop a
Twitter,
real water.
Dan, who is at Hoot_86, said, yes, I think it's time for an Asian American Atlantean Namor. Daniel Day Kim would be great. What do you guys think? So we just answered that.
We agree.
Then,
Agreed.
Colby LGVK at High Lion Haxharamama Samamas. Sorry, I butchered your
How do you
Twitter
spell
handle.
that?
Said totally sold and a perfect character for an Asian actor. Plus, I want Namor, and his personality will be a good. And talking about Brian T, who plays Shredder in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles films.
Oh, right.
He actually was talking to Entertainment Weekly and said, Marvel Studios just picked up the rights to Namor, who is a Submariner, or the Submariner, and I would love to play the Submariner. I grew up as a comic geek, and the Submariner is one of my childhood's fondest superheroes. So
He's not as boyish as I would expect, but I'm down.
yeah,
Now-
I would like that. Yeah, I'd be down.
Another
for
name
Brian
that's
T.
been tossed around that I always say for other roles besides Ben Foster is Zac Efron, and I personally don't think for this is my anti-casting. I think he's too young. He also doesn't have a regalness. Like, he has a boyish charm. I think he'd be a great Nova, but
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
he'd be a
I
great
agree.
Namor.
Oh, like
agree.
Rick Rider Nova.
He'd be a great Namor.
Yeah, that'd
Like,
be down.
but like Namor wise, no, I think that'd just be pandering.
I have a weird one. I don't know if anybody from Marvel ever like listens to this show or not, but like I have a weird little continuity one that makes me so happy. Anna, who was an Ant-Man, and Betty Brant. She's already been established as a reporter in the
That'd be
Marvel
awesome.
U.
I'm all about that.
And I'm just like saying,
Oh, you're saying Anna should be Betty Brant because they never gave her a name.
They never gave her a name, and that ties her into the Marvel U. I'm planting seeds.
That would be awesome.
I would kill for that.
that would be awesome.
Who was the guy in Tokyo Drift that was so good that died and they brought him back because he was so good?
I don't
You know
know.
what I'm talking about? They literally like rewrote the timeline because they were like, we can't have him die yet. He's too charming.
I have not delved into Fast and Furious yet.
Oh,
I'm
good
aware.
sir.
I'm aware.
I've seen
Wait, like,
Tokyo
at all?
Drift.
I've never seen a single Fast and Furious film.
I watched Tokyo Drift simply because the trailers had the line, you ain't in
So
control
good
unless
then.
you out of control. And I was like, I want to watch that movie for that line. And then it wasn't in the movie.
Dude, I say
Are you
pockets
gonna
ain't
take me in
empty
a manly
cuz
fashion?
all
Is
the
this
time.
okay?
No, but it's that actor's incredible.
Take me to your second.
All right, well, while you're looking that up, we're going to...
We got one weird one. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah,
from
go
the
for
chat. Dakodian says Cal Penn for Namor.
Oh!
He's a much more comedic actor, but if you watch his turn on House, he does have a lot of acting chops.
No, he's a great actor.
yeah.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know
Kumar.
if he's.
Kumar from Harold
I
and
don't.
Kumar.
I don't. And I say I don't think he's pretty enough. That's my only push. Is that Namor is.
Gotta be stunning.
Namor's got to be gorgeous.
He's
yeah.
got to be like underwear model pretty because he's
in his
like he
underwear.
literally walk. He's got to be able to walk in a room and be like, "You four undress now." Like that's really. And there's got to be like 10 seconds before anybody
Yeah.
goes like, "No."
Yeah, he's a homewrecker.
He's Mr.
that
Steal Your
Namor.
Girl.
He's
That's right. I said that out loud.
Steal Your Girl?
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
he's pretty. Don't get me wrong. He's a pretty man, but like I don't know if he's like pretty enough to get away with like being that
That's
smug.
true.
Although I'd love to see
and
him
the other
try.
thing is that Namor really has no sense of you. Like, talk about a character with no humor at all. Like,
None.
I mean, he's
None.
like humorless, like in every way.
He might as well be in a DC film.
Hey,
Oh yeah.
Shots fired.
Boom.
Boom. I
Speaking
said it.
about crappy
All right.
billboards.
So you're looking that name up. We're gonna jump over to Doctor Strange now. I will give you a warning. This is there's possible spoilers with this Doctor Strange news. It deals with a Lego set.
There's spoilers.
It's
There's
light.
spoilers.
I think a spoiler light. Like it's not that big of a deal, but. If you look on our video, you can see that there's a way to jump to the next news story. Go ahead and do that right now. Sung Kang.
Sung Kang. Like
Oh,
to
yeah.
have Sing plus Kang. He's a great actor. He's so
Okay.
charming and handsome. They brought him back after dying. He's also like I think he'd work.
He could be
will-
Kang the Conqueror.
Okay, I will.
Sun Kang the Conqueror.
Having sung
Yeah, Sun Kang.
a singing Kang.
Sang Kang.
I will go with
Could change the tense
whatever you're
between
saying.
which-
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Just give me about. All right, so here it is. Spoilers. We've got merchandise we're going to look at, but first we're going to look at the Doctor Strange Lego set because I want to get that done and out of the way. So I just want to warn everybody that you're talking to Matt Key's ghost right now because he died when he saw Doctor Strange had a Lego set.
Because of the choking hazard.
Yeah, because of the choking hazard.
You're not supposed to put it all in your mouth at once.
You're supposed to look at it.
Yep.
The choking hazard. That's why it's there.
I swallow Doctor Strange. Lego, the mini. God, oh!
You cannot absorb his powers by eating him.
That's not how powers work. I'm
You got
pretty sure
mini
that's how-
powers, sadly. You didn't get
High
Doctor
plastic.
Strange
It's-
powers.
Get it.
Oh man, that means my hands detach and I can put on like a fake cape now
And
if
your
I can
hair's
take
gonna
my
fall
head
off.
off.
I
Oh
know.
no, my hair, my beautiful head of hair. Anyway, so I say it's a spoiler because there's a couple things. We haven't seen a trailer yet that shows Wong, but in this we see Wong's costume. Approximate at least, and it looks like he's wearing like yellow and purple. That immediately, by the way, made me think of the scenes that they were shooting in London to make it look like it was in New York, where they were running up to someone who was on the street, like bundled up in a corner, and was wearing yellow, and everyone was like, "Is that the Ancient One or Wong?" I think it was Wong now because we're seeing this Lego thing where he's wearing yellow. I'm piecing all of this together, by the way. Like,
You're down.
this is Doctor Strange. This is where my head
You're
goes.
moving so fast.
Yeah.
It's like bringing the Texas back out of you. It's amazing.
You can hear the Texas
It's a
accent.
little bit.
Oh man.
Keep going.
So we can also see that Wong has fans, and it looks like he's flying. So like maybe
Crouching Tiger style.
yeah. So like maybe like Wong actually has a little bit more magic in the movie than he does in the comics.
Yeah, he's got a little bit in the comics.
He's got a little bit in the
Got some
comics,
stuff
but
going
it's
on.
mostly like occult knowledge. It's not really like practice that he has. But he is like an expert martial artist, and he like one of my I can't even remember what comic it's from, but one of my favorite panels is Doctor Strange is trying to decipher like how to enter like this portal and stuff like that. And while he's doing that, like he and Wong are being surrounded by like ninjas. And it cuts to like a close up of Doctor Strange just like trying to figure it out. And then it cuts back and Wong is dragging away like two bodies. And Doctor Strange is like, "Wait, what did you do?" And he's like, "This is an earthly concern that is not of yours." Like, or something like that as he's dragging. I was like, I love Wong so much. He acts so fast we didn't even see him. Anyway, like he's got fans and he's like flying, and I think that's awesome. Then we've also got Baron Mordo, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, with a staff jumping, and Doctor Strange. And I swear, if the mini kit Doctor Strange comes with like magical little like dealy wops to put in his hands, I will pass out. But the big thing is that you see a tentacle monster coming through a gate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So, and that's the spoiler. That's the spoiler. If there is to be one, because we know that those other three characters in there. The Sanctum Sanctorum is not supposed to be. It cannot be entered. It can't. Like it's one of the most defendable places on Earth because of all the spells and magic that are surrounding it. So the fact that something is attacking the Sanctum is a big deal.
Kind of Shumagarothy.
It is very Shumagarothy. However, I will say that there's a cover from it's Doctor Strange #1 Volume 2. I think it was Brunner and Englehart. It's like Magnetron.
So much better about myself.
Where the orb of Agamotto is seen like with tentacles like lashing out of it, and that is one of the only times I can think of that the Sanctum Sanctorum has been like entered and violated in that way. It made me wonder if like the Mads Mikkelsen character is playing a character named Silver Dagger, who was like he's a minor character. He was a he's a monk, a theologian who believes that evil is magic and needs to be like contained. So he went and taught himself magic for the express purpose of wiping out magic.
I'm still feeling that if you're going to do a Doctor Strange movie, it's going to be a Dormammu. I think there's no way. I think there's no way not to.
See, I think they're going to introduce Dormammu.
But
I think we're going to hear about him. I don't think he's going to be the main antagonist.
I think he's going to be the main antagonist, and we're never going to see him.
You think he's like the silent puppet master?
I think we're going to hear him. I mean, I don't want to. My plot structure brain just starts working overtime. Sure. But I feel like from what I've seen that he's going to be the Thanos of this.
Okay, interesting.
Of this reality.
See, I feel like the second movie is going to be what's called the Eternity Saga. That's like the first giant graphic novel crossover that they did with Doctor Strange, where Doctor Strange banishes Dormammu to his dimension and says, "You're never allowed to enter here again. That's how I'm going to let you live." And Dormammu's like, "All right." So then he convinces Baron Mordo to take on his power to kill Doctor Strange, so that is then that deal is moot and Dormammu can come back into our plane of existence. So I think that's what's going to be the second movie.
The second movie is going to be Blackheart.
No. No way.
I think the second movie is Mephisto negating the marriage between Mary Jane and Peter.
Brand new day.
My take. I think it's the greatest Spider-Man saga of all time. I'm lying.
We hope. Also, did you see that weird little trigger on the far left of the set? There's a little trigger. There's a little trigger.
There's a weird
If you look, I know. I'm sorry.
Jennifer Lawrence. What do you mean?
I hate
where
you.
On the
okay. See the little black orb on there?
Yeah,
that's on a hinge.
Oh,
there's a little mechanical hingey thing. I don't know what that's about.
So maybe it's the orb, but it's floating.
No,
oh my God.
That or it's next to a bookcase, which means maybe there's a secret passage bookcase.
That's where I was going.
I love Lego.
The candle back.
But I will say, even though it's Legos, and I know some people are like whatever Legos. Legos gave us Giant Man. They have Guardians of the Galaxy. They've revealed big secrets in the past. So I think that this is possibly the second. This is the end of Act 2.
Yeah, end of Act 2 going into the third act.
Because
actual
we've
villain
seen
conflict.
So we've seen Wong outside of a window. I think we have crashed onto the ground, and I think we've seen Doctor Strange and Chiwetel Ejiofor's Baron Mordo running outside of the Sanctum Sanctorum, standing in front of it, going, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And then we've seen Mads Mikkelsen on the street, "Oh, come and get me." So I think that's what is. That's what that is.
I think that's what is.
I think that's what it is. All right.
Yeah, kind of doubling back.
We've got to move on to our.
Yeah.
Now that we've discussed all those news stories that we weren't supposed to discuss.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go on to the discussion, but first we're gonna talk about Loot Crate. Loot Crate is sponsoring our show, and have you guys? Let's just throw this out. You guys have all been to Comic-Con, right?
No.
You've been to Comic-Con. You've been to Comic-Con.
I've drunk with everybody at this table at Comic-Con.
I am simply using that as a segue to talk about the wonders of Loot Crate, because Loot Crate is segue. I get it now. Loot Crate is kind of bringing a little bit of Comic-Con into your home, because it has all sorts of fun little exclusives and stuff like that you can only get at Comic-Con. Loot Crate has a bunch of exclusives that you can only get through Loot Crate, so it's that kind of thing. Let's see here. It is less than $20 a month. You can get 6 to 8 items in every single thing, and that includes licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items. That is all over a $45 value.
What?
So you're getting it for 50 to 60% off of everything. And it's lootcrate.com/Marvel News. Enter the code Marvel News and you save $3. So it's only $17. Yeah. I just did that math very quickly in my head.
You're so good.
You are
so good at
You're
math.
the Doctor Strange of math.
I'm legitimately not.
Loot Crate sponsored Critical Role for a little bit, and we love them. They're great.
Yeah, they also sponsor Fat Man on Batman, Kevin Smith.
Oh yeah.
They're
awesome.
Where Kevin Smith will talk for 20 minutes about Loot Crate.
No, it's it's not. Every now and then you come home and you've had a bad day, and oh look, this is just this thing that just saved a bad day.
Yeah,
nice. It is, and you forget that you have, especially if you sign up for the service.
Yeah, you forget
that you have it, and then you come home and you're like, hey, what is in this box? box.
And if
What's in
there's
this
stuff
silly
in
little
there
box?
that you don't like, you can save it and give it to your nieces and nephews.
Exactly. That's great. So
Awesome.
the June
You
theme,
win twice.
the June theme, and the cutoff, by the way, for June is the 19th. So you've got, what is that, 11 days? Like it's the 7th, something
Time
like
is
that? I don't
meaningless.
know.
I don't know.
12 days maybe. See, the Doctor Strange of math. Now you see the irony of that. That's the cutoff. But the theme is dystopia, and it includes RoboCop, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, The Matrix, and new favorites, BioShock Infinite and Fallout 4. You'll get a figure, cool collectibles, and a monthly T-shirt. So what?
I want Fallout 4 stuff.
No, you cannot have it.
I need it.
So anyway, so don't forget to go to lootcrate.com and /Marvel
with
News and
clipboards.
enter the code Marvel News. So yeah.
It's a Fallout 4 box that just comes with clipboards. I need more of these.
All right, so let's move on to the discussion and let's talk Captain Marvel. Brie Larson, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Brie Larson is the favorite to star in Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel, the company's first film to star a female superhero, like exclusively star a female superhero. Also, they're looking at 2 directors, Nikki Caro and Jennifer Kent. Nikki Caro did Whale Rider. Jennifer Kent did The Babadook. So that's like, what do you think about Brie Larson?
I think she's great. I mean,
It's hard not to be happy and excited about this. I think
Yeah.
she just won an Oscar for that. That performance in The Room was
Yeah.
in Room is incredible.
Yeah.
Like that movie just I watched that movie in the first act. I thought was the whole movie, and then as soon as that thing happens at the end of the first act, I was like, oh, where we go now? And then it kept going and going, and the whole time you're watching this amazing arc from her. I mean, she's been delivering amazing performances for so long that there's no doubt in my mind that she can handle a superhero movie, because there's something really special and specific about being like, I'm flying in space.
Yeah.
Trust my words are not crazy talk.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be a really grounded actress to like deliver that kind of dialogue from Captain Marvel.
100%.
Carol's a tough character. Carol is
She is.
She is not a walk in the park. Like that's going to be. There's
Well,
a lot of
how
lines.
do you mean that? Why do you say that?
Well, it's interesting. I'm just if you take her character from everything that has happened to her character and her whole story arc going through, and the sort of the person she's now become in modern books, it's this interesting mix of kind of the military hero where she's got a little bit of Hal Jordan and a little bit of Ripley, but it's Ripley from the Aliens movie before all the bad shit happened.
Yeah.
So she's got to be like there's an insane confidence and security to that's really tough to pull off.
Yeah. It's interesting that you were saying, like, you guys have both said, like, it's
Iceman from Top Gun.
Yeah, it's a tough character because of how really out there and wacky it is. Like, she gets her powers from a thing called the psychic magnetron, which infuses her with alien Kree DNA, but it's not even just alien Kree DNA. It's Captain Marvel's alien Kree DNA. Like, it's what is even going on there? Like, it's such a weird out there sort of thing. And I think they have to do something similar with Carol Danvers that they did with Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, because that's another one where he's like, you've got a man running around going, by the hoary host of Hoggett, I believe in the gods of the Vishanti. Like,
Good
here's a
actors.
spell. Like, it's like you have to have an actor so grounded and so like trustworthy to be able, like, the audience has to trust that actor to give a grounded performance so that we as the audience are like, we buy into it.
Have you seen that gif of the actors jumping off milk crates?
Yeah.
And then they like make the superhero like it's
Yeah.
like, wait, that's this whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta make sure she can jump off that milk crate.
No, she's on a certain level. She's kind of the Superman of the Marvel universe. She's got
Yeah.
this intense power set, and she's got to sell it, and has got to sell this real confidence.
I think she
Also
can. I think she
speaking
can.
as an actor who has been the one jumping off of a milk crate and I know every time you jump off on it, like, let's give a little credit where credit is due here. Every time I jump off that milk crate, I think, dear God, I hope the fucking like special effects post team
Because they gotta do
pulls it
They've
out
gotta
of their
pull it,
ass,
yeah.
and it's gonna land on editing and storytelling as well.
Marvel's got that
Yeah,
on lock.
Right.
Yeah, they
And I
do.
feel like she can lean into that and
Right.
like make a
So
movie.
Exactly.
I want to show this picture. Comicbook.com like always does this stuff with Boss Logic, this artist named Boss Logic, who will like draw pictures of what the actors would look like inside of their costumes and stuff. And he drew this one of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, and I was just like, yep, I'm sold. Like, I'm 100% sold.
Yeah, no, I'm in.
I'm 100%
I'm in.
on board.
I've been on the blunt train for years, but
Get off the blunt
I'm
train,
feeling
man.
it.
I don't think you're allowed to say that on the show.
Emily Blunt
Emily Blunt.
Okay,
We know.
because I've been on the blunt
We know.
train. But I think as far as not being on the blunt train goes, Brie Larson,
Yeah.
and she's
And
incredible.
honestly, it looks like they're already kind of, like you were saying, going with a more grounded approach to the character already, kind of like sacrificing the more stylistic vision of the character.
No one's going to have that hair.
No one's going to have that hair, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of already going a more.
A couple people in the thread said she's a little young to be a colonel, and I agree, but I also think she can become that in the film. I think she's going to grow into that character. You don't want a movie that. You don't want a character this complex to not have the origin movie, because this is the first MCU character where I didn't read her books until All New, All Different. I didn't read Captain Marvel. I didn't I didn't identify with the character. I didn't know this new book's incredible, but until now I wouldn't have gotten it. So if you don't have an origin movie, you're not going to know.
And we should say Captain Marvel used to be known as Ms. Marvel, and she just recently changed like in the last like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
It was like a big
So
deal.
all of that origin also like
You got a lot to
fuels
cover.
into this.
So
Yeah.
there was a little younger.
There was over a decade of Marvel history where there was no Captain Marvel. There was just a Miss Marvel. And we're like, why are you still calling yourself Miss Marvel since Captain Marvel has been dead since like 84 or whatever?
Yeah, he died of cancer too.
He died of cancer.
So like,
And then wasn't there like another Captain Marvel?
There's been little ones.
well, yeah,
Monica,
there was Monica Rambeau, who is now going by Spectrum.
There was
and she can turn herself into like spectrums of light. Like,
yeah, and then there was a Novar briefly who was briefly Captain
I'm not
Marvel.
familiar with
Captain,
Novar.
who was Marvel Boy.
oh, Marvel Boy.
Marvel Boy,
Okay,
who
yeah,
then
yeah,
became
yeah,
Captain Marvel for the Dark Avengers. Where he
that's
was like,
right.
I want to
They
be,
did the
I want to
whole
be
thing.
Captain Marvel. He like literally was like, I'll be on the team, but I get to be. I want to call myself Captain Marvel.
I want to be able to call
and
myself
then he was
Captain
like,
Marvel.
that went really poorly. I'm going to stop doing that.
Never mind.
I'm
He
curious.
called it like a Spice Girls, like a Halloween time. I want to be Sparty Spice.
Literally, he's kind of an obnoxious. I love him. He's a wonderfully obnoxious character.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he is. I know he's one of your favorites.
He
isn't
is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Novar. I love Marvel Boy.
So yeah, like
I'm curious
yeah, dude.
your guys' opinions, because I was thinking about this, just looking at all this news, and like she looks awesome, and as fans of the character, like we know like what she is and what she's capable of as a character. Do you think there's going to be any general public confusion or not backlash is it's too strong a word, but like just over the fact that it's Marvel's Captain Marvel?
Probably
Yes.
just based on how people like to yell at things without context.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's a.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's possible that there will be a little bit of a backlash,
Or
but
just confusion?
maybe confusion. But like, whatever. Like, people are going to be confused by different things. We can't really control that.
Did the our Batgirl fan series, Batgirl Spoiled, people got angry at us because Batgirl was blonde and didn't have red hair, and we were calling her Stephanie instead of Barbara. People were getting angry at us for that, and I was like, it's Stephanie Brown. It's not Barbara
in the
Gordon.
comics,
that's why.
Yeah.
That there's a
She's
reason.
spoiler,
So
yeah.
there's a reason. People will get angry because people don't know, and people like to get angry about things they don't
But
understand.
I can definitely see a tightening up of her origin where they could handle that really. Like I
Yeah.
can already see how they're
Yeah.
going to tighten up the origin. It makes a lot of sense.
I really don't think it's going to be Psyche Magnetron.
I think
I don't either.
weirdly, I think they could pull it off. I think if
They
if
could
it's-
pull it off. I
If
just
it's
don't think they're going to do it.
If
I
it's
don't think they
it's an
will
alien abduction. The
like,
ship is attacked.
Like Star-Lord, yeah.
Yeah, and the ship is attacked, and Captain Marvel like puts her in the machine, and she becomes the new Captain Marvel, and like becomes like the head of the crew, and just starts calling
that's
herself Captain
interesting.
Marvel.
So you think that we're probably going to see Marvel?
I think we are going to meet Marvel, and I think he's going to like be the one who like frees her from the jail of wherever like she is, and he's going to be like, "We need people. You're being conscripted." That's what I would do.
Oh, that's
I would conscript her onto a
It's
cruise
almost
ship.
like they're making her. What is it? The Guardian. I think the Imperial Guard of
Smasher.
Smasher. Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. Like it's kind of like
so bad about myself right now
why
that I knew that.
Well, I knew it too. I just couldn't remember the name. But like I was like, I remember the process of becoming the Smasher. It's very similar though to the Imperial Guard, how they conscript different beings from different races, and like you're now one of the Smashers of the Imperial Guard.
And there's so many ways they could do it. I don't know if you ever read the Morrison's Marvel Boy book, but like the Kree ship crashing on Earth, and then like literally profiteers come chop it up and sell it, and like including dissecting the crew. It's so dark and messed up. But.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know.
There's a lot to do.
Yeah, and here's the other thing: is that Captain Marvel comes out after the first Avengers: Infinity War film. So I think when are we even going to meet Captain Marvel? Like at what point in the Marvel universe are we going to meet her?
There could the Kree. There's a Kree. I know I'm just spitballing. Kree conflict. There's an interaction. She's one of the people grabbed in the interaction during the big conflict. She's the one who gets superpowers, and then she's the one who could also then drag Guardians of the Galaxy into the second film. Like you could use her as a bridge for a lot.
See,
of stuff.
Here's what I'm thinking. Just talking through it all right now. Here's what I'm starting to think. Thanos is coming to Earth. The Kree are now very interested in Earth. They have been for a while because of the Inhumans and everything. So Mar-Vell's initial role on Earth was to observe for Kree invasion. So what if they're doing something similar to that, but in regard to Thanos? Thanos is coming. Mar-Vell freaks out, finds this Carol Danvers who works in the Air Force that he's been friends with, and conscripts her from there as a defender of Earth. So that at the end of the end of the first Infinity War film, we see that, and then that spins off into her own movie.
Or it's like her and the Nova Corps being awesome.
Yeah, all right, man. Anyway,
this is an interesting theory from the chat.
Yes, Doom
says, I think she will just be a U.S. Air Force pilot in the first Infinity War, fighting in the invasion, and then getting her powers.
I like
solid.
that.
I like that.
Solid.
I like that.
Good call.
Who said that?
That was Skilea. I'm sorry, there's a lot of vowels.
Well done, Skilea vowels.
Yeah, I will say, once again, got to give
Captain
credit
Marvel.
to Marvel, because there have been several times where I've been like, how the shit are they going to pull off the Rainbow Bridge?
Yeah,
and every
do
time
it.
they do. Every time they do.
Yeah.
So, and every time, same thing with, Doctor Strange. I was like, how are they going to pull this off? And they will.
Yeah, how are they going to pull this off? Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch. Okay.
Oh,
no, that's
sure,
He's got his own magic.
I guess I didn't think about that,
I know.
He's dreamy.
He is a little dreamy.
All right, so do you want to say anything else about Captain Marvel before we jump over to the Guardians 2?
Can I briefly, before we go to Marvel,
Yeah.
the Michael Barbary thing people keep tweeting about, and there's literally an article someone just sent me called Thoughts on the Whitewashing Casting. Marvel casts a non-Asian as Genki Lee in Spider-Man. And then in that article it says he will be playing someone based on an entirely new character. We do not know who the character is.
Yeah.
These websites get money when you click on them. These websites make money. So the louder their controversial topic, the more you pay them to be stupid. It literally says in the article he's playing a new character. This isn't whitewashing, it's a new character. In Genki, they wouldn't do that. So we don't know who he is. Don't be mad at something that doesn't exist yet. That's like being mad at the idea of Santa Claus. Yeah. Don't invest your emotions into something that doesn't have any basis in fact, and don't give these people your money. The internet is turning into a cesspool of stupidity because of this working. Just
look at where the link goes. What is it? Okay, it's inverse.com. And after you've clicked on 3 inverse articles and been like, what the hell? Just stop clicking on them altogether.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to tangent.
Not inverse. I'm so sorry, inverse.
There is something to be said for he has not been announced as Genki.
We don't know anything. So until something is true, don't make it.
If he is announced, then we'll have that conversation.
And you can be upset because that's fair.
But he won't be.
He won't be. But if he is, that is unfortunate, and that's a really bad decision.
It's the National Enquirer approach.
Yeah, and
that people don't realize that we've totally done on the web, and people don't. People like to laugh at National Enquirer, but we do it every day on the web.
Elvis isn't alive, and Michael Jackson's not hanging out with them. Tupac died a while ago. It's all very sad, but it's not real. This is that, and please, it's just I get worked up when the internet just ruins itself. The internet should be a source for infinite knowledge. We have the ability to connect with everyone on the planet and learn everything humanity has ever known in the world. We have this access to this powerful tool, and you're using it to talk about stupid shit.
Well, it's only commercially viable as an engine of exhaustion.
Oh, so I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Guardians, I got so many links.
I'm so there with you.
Totally agree. He's not announced as Genki. They're stirring up trouble for clicks to get the
click
cash.
the bait.
Just don't take it. Don't take it.
Don't reward
But at the end of if you do click the bait, read the article and double check
before
what
you
it says.
Do you remember in high school when you had to
retweet
source your topics? But the internet.
I can't tell you how many times I've read through articles and realized they didn't read it. They did not read the article before they retweeted it.
It's
Yeah.
every April Fool's I write a little thing just reminding this is the day that we take
This
to
is a
remind
lesson.
ourselves
Yeah.
to stop sharing stuff that we can't source.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't
All right,
do it.
Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
2. Comicbook.com and a couple other sources, especially Joe Blow, are reporting that they believe Elizabeth Debicki is playing a character named Aisha, and we've heard that before, but they're also saying that she will be the film's central antagonist, which is the first time we've heard that. And that's interesting because Aisha is the female version of Adam Warlock, created after Adam Warlock to be his perfect mate and equal. Kismet, also Paragon.
Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. Gold people.
So,
Little
but
Oscar statue.
she is very literally Adam Warlock in female form, and she goes after like Adam Warlock to free him. Like after he's been killed, she revives his body, but his soul is still in the soul gem. Like it's a whole thing. So if that's the case in this film, then it's possible that we're going to end up seeing bless you Adam Warlock at some point,
We've got
or
Yeah, I feel like we have to.
I feel like we have to, but if we don't see Adam Warlock, and there's Elizabeth Debicki, I feel like if we don't see Adam Warlock, she is basically Adam Warlock, like, you know. So like, and it's a way of giving like creating just like another female villain or hero, and like she is Adam Warlock in every way, just without like as many stories. And without being on as many teams.
I'd love to condense a character that dense. Like
Exactly.
That's the Ultimate line did so well, is it made 20 years, 50 years, 60 years of story.
Yeah.
Boop. So if we can do that with this character, because there's so much. Great.
There's so much. There's so much.
Adam Warlock is a giant cluster of crazy. So
Well, there's so many
absolutely.
writers, it's like apocalypse. There's so
Yeah.
many writers that thought that was the way to do the story, that they had their own spin, which is great for
Yeah.
storytelling, but bad for a movie trying to make it. So
where's my Pip the Troll?
Oh, right. And I would love to see Adam Warlock in a film, but I really and Adam Warlock more times than not is a good guy. So to make Adam Warlock, or the female equivalent of Adam Warlock, the central antagonist, I think is interesting because he's also, or she is, a very powerful antagonist to fight against. Like they've got space magic. Like how do you even fight space magic? Like
It's like Kirby Crackle.
yeah.
With magic.
So anyway, I don't know what else to say about it. Like I'm just like.
If you haven't read Infinity Gauntlet, the original Infinity Gauntlet, sit
Yeah.
down and just go through it and just realize that Adam Warlock is the scariest. He is Space Batman with magic. Like,
Yeah, he's
so
Space
scary.
Batman. Yeah, he's a terrifying, and the fact
Dick
that like,
Grayson, Space Batman with magic. It's just
yeah, and the fact that he goes on to become like his alter ego, the Magus. Like he like it.
Are we going there? Are we going to Infinity
Just
War?
very briefly,
All
just
right.
very briefly. Sometime in the future, Adam Warlock is able to separate his good self and his bad self and make himself neutral. But the bad self goes on to become like the ultimate evil version of Adam Warlock,
Becomes
called
like-
the Magus.
He's like the peculiar purple pie man joined Kiss. It's such an awful character design.
It really is. It really is. But like he is the reason Infinity War happens in the comics. It's a weird.
I
It's a
don't like
weird one.
Infinity
It is a
War.
weird. It is a weird one. It's one of the first series I ever read in comics.
Really?
Yeah. Infinity War #1 and #2. The X-Men, where Nightcrawler is a Christian, and I was allowed to read comics, and a cable series. Those were the first comics that I ever read.
I can't even imagine.
And then I discovered Doctor Strange, and
that's the end of that.
and that's the end of that. So it was that and the X-Men for me when I was a child. Anyway,
Wow,
so
that was a lot of deep info very quickly.
I had,
Like,
I had an
basically.
Adam Warlock cosplay, so that's my. I had the Adam
What?
Warlock costume.
what?
I was Adam Warlock for Halloween.
That is awesome. Oh my god. All right. We've got to move on very fast because we're quickly running out of time. Because I'm terrible at time management, and I'm excited to talk and be back on the show. Like it's been a while since I've been back.
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok. So Joe Blow, again, another one from Joe Blow, say that the film will be a combination of Ragnarok storyline from the comics and Planet Hulk. So we all know what happens in Planet Hulk. Like
Yeah.
Hulk ends up on another planet, becomes a gladiator. And saves that entire planet from an evil, like the race that is like making everyone slaves.
Yeah.
And then he comes back for World War Hulk and smashes the Earth.
Great Hulk story.
It's a great Hulk story. So one of the things is they're saying Hulk in this film will actually have those gladiatorial like pieces on him. So he'll have like the armor, the leather straps, the bands. He'll have a sword. all that stuff.
Oh my god. I'm so excited.
feel like
This is
Halloween
the first time
costume of
I'm
the
hearing
year.
of this.
Oh,
I'm so stoked.
I feel like that was the first Hulk story in years that got like the masses' attention.
Yeah.
I feel like it
Yeah.
was the first like pop culture relevant Hulk story. So I think it's
in a
really
long
smart
time,
of
yeah.
Marvel to do
go
like,
that direction.
hey, we don't really have the basis to do a full movie about this, but look what we can do.
Well, they also are sharing like film licensing rights with Universal in some ways. So that's another thing why like they can't do like a full Hulk storyline because Universal's like, yeah, maybe not. So
Good. Well, now they got Namor back, so I'm really curious how that conversation went. Because
Yeah.
as far as I knew,
was
Universal
at
had
Universal
Namor.
too, yeah.
So I'm wondering if they like,
maybe they have
Made
Hulk,
some
Hulk's full
Hulk
rights. I don't know.
maybe we'll find out at the end of Thor that we have the rights, and that's how they announced their solo Hulk film because the Universal thing is kind of telling with Namor.
He's not going to be fighting the Silver Surfer, though. That
No, he
makes
will
me
not be fighting
sad.
the Silver Surfer. Yeah.
Basically, what happens
Or
is
Beta
all
Ray Bill.
the Universal and the Fox and the Marvel executives just get in a room and then they play like a card game.
I would love
a trading
for it to be a
card
card
game.
I would love for it to be a
And
card
that's how
game.
they decide who gets what characters. Yeah.
That would be amazing. I would
Yeah.
love that.
I would like the Contest of Champions comic, but like executive level.
Yes,
They're all just, like,
100%.
they're all just in a room with holograms, and they're like, duel.
Yes.
It's like
That's pretty much what I have in
it's
my brain.
human chess, but with the actual
Yeah.
stars of the film.
Yeah.
Just like moving around the board.
The reason Downey Jr. keeps getting more money is he shows up in the room and he's just like, all right, everybody has to fight today. And Kevin Feige's like, go, my Tony.
Go, my Tony. I choose you, Tony. So I think that's really cool.
blast.
I'd watch that movie so hard.
Now the Ragnarok storyline, we should say, mid '80s, written, I believe, and also drawn by Walt Simonson, is so Surtur, who lives in the realm of Muspelheim, uses Malekith to free him from Muspelheim, and then goes on to attack Asgard, and with the Twilight Sword. That is some. I am deep cutting today.
I
think
don't
they're-
even know what you just said. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm on this podcast, and I will admit I don't know what you just said.
I think they're gonna also probably include a lot of the more modern Bendis Fall of Asgard.
I'm sure. I'm sure
stuff as well.
But it's looking like between Hela and Loki, they're trying to take over Asgard. So I don't think that the threat is going to be Surtur. I think that would be awesome to have like a giant fire.
Maybe that's
giant
someone they
demon,
fight in the
That's a
Planet
battle.
Hulk storyline.
That's a battle, but
Yeah.
I don't see that. Like I don't see them going to Surtur to free him from Muspelheim.
And that's also a character I don't think you can really do as a big bad because of Lord of the Rings. It'd be like,
Exactly.
why is the Balrog here?
Where's Gandalf?
As a battle, cool. But like for the everyday audience, that'd be like,
Yeah.
why is the big... It'd feel like a ripoff. It'd be
Yeah,
like, why is the
I
big
agree.
bad
I agree.
chasing them through these caves?
As much as I love Hiddleston, I'd love to see this end with Kid Loki.
Ooh, that would be kind of cool. You love that whole Young Avengers storyline. That's like your favorite.
I
one
love
of
that
my
you're
favorites.
so like
That's
modern Marvel. You're like,
I love
Kid
Marvel.
Marvel, like Kid Loki. Like right now is your time, man. That's
Miss
awesome.
America Chavez. Like there's
Oh
some-
yeah, she's great.
Kate Bishop Hawkeye. There's
See,
so much
early
good.
2000s, like Ultimate Resurgence was my time.
That's
so
some
the
good stuff,
So
too.
the movies right now are that, and it looks like they're going to yours. So we both get to frolic in fields of happiness.
I like a good book. I'm always happy with it. And Marvel's been good for a long time now.
Dude,
Yeah.
It's been a good
been
run.
very consistent because it's such a marketable outlet now. Like there was the 90s where it's like, what if we made the covers shiny and didn't write them?
Yeah.
And then now they're like, oh, there's movies, we can make these
I
good.
really like the Phalanx
Didn't
covers, I
write
will
them.
admit. Those were the one holograms. I'm like, okay, these holograms rock. The rest
Now,
can go
if we
die.
don't make quality content but make 20 covers, we'll sell 20 books.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad that we've
We've moved past that.
invested in ourselves as a culture in comic books. It's very important.
But it'll be interesting to see how they combine the storyline from Ragnarok with the storyline from Planet Hulk. I think what's going to happen is Loki and Hela will give Thor over to the Grandmaster, and Grandmaster will have already kidnapped Hulk. And I think that's where Hulk has been and why no one's hearing from him the last couple movies. He's already been kidnapped, I think.
He got Star-Lorded.
He got
I
what?
broke Marisha.
It was just so true. What if we make the cover shiny
so-
and don't write them?
So underslept and angry today. My apologies. I think that storyline is the only way to do the pitch. Remember, like a few months ago when we first heard that it was going to be like a buddy cosmic journey?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a little worried. And
Yeah.
then every single bit of news
have
we get
faith.
more, I'm like, oh no,
I have
this is
faith.
it's exactly what I want it to be.
Yeah.
Like, but when you open with like Cosmic Bro Trip, you're like, where's
Bill
Bill
this
and
going?
Ted with Hulk and Thor? What?
Yeah, what?
But like the more they elaborate, I'm like, oh, you're incorporating like 9 storylines everyone loves. You're doing a giant space epic, and
Yeah.
you're bringing the two characters that are arguably the hardest to translate because the Thor movies I think have the rockiest trajectory because they
Yeah.
have the most to cover, and Hulk has been a great supporting character. They're literally combining those worlds in a way that no one would have guessed, and it's the best way to give both characters their love.
Yeah.
It is the pickles and ice cream of the Marvel U.
Right? But this is gonna
To be
be
fair, it could work out brilliantly because my problem with Thor in all the movies is that I feel like he's just kind of reacting to bad things happening around him.
Yeah.
And
That's
Hulk,
interesting.
Hulk kind of only causes
Is a
bad,
bad thing happening?
Yeah, it's just only a bad thing. So it could be gold.
I just want the dialogue. I can't wait for the dialogue because I Hemsworth is Thor and
Yeah.
Ruffalo
Yes.
is Hulk, so I can't wait to. They could do anything.
Well,
I'd be
and the other rumors are that like he's never going to be Banner. Like he's Hulk all the way through because Hulk has learned how to
that budget
speak
dough.
it. Like true, but it's Marvel and they have $10 billion. So
And they've already built Hulk, so he's built.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper now.
A couple more
I've
layers
gotta-
of pretty.
presumably cheaper. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean like you know.
Do you think
construction.
Yes,
do you think
Doom.
we'll ever see like a Red Hulk or anything like that in this?
We've talked
Grey
about
Hulk.
we've talked about how
a
Martin
Grey Hulk.
Freeman, like Martin Freeman, had that moment of like "Don't make me angry," that little moment in Civil War, and I was like, that'd be interesting. We've had Thunderbolt Ross come back, who is Red
I
Hulk.
wanted Freeman to be MODOK so badly. I wanted his head on a little floating platter. He's got such a good head to
He
be
does.
to be surrounded by tiny arms.
He does. He does. Doom, you had something that you wanted to say.
I got just like on the Hulk thing because I'm a huge fan of Hulk and especially Bruce Banner as a character. I have never been a huge fan of intelligent Hulk. To me, that's
Yeah.
like a step out of what I connected to with the character. Like
I can get
like
behind that.
I like the rage monster and that idea of losing yourself into Hulk. So if we don't see Bruce Banner in the movie, I mean, I could see introducing him as like Hulk, where they're just constantly like prodding him with electrical stuff to like keep him angry at all times. But like once he gets away with Thor, I would still like to see Bruce Banner come out.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do that. So
I don't know. I will say that the Bruce Banner reveal in Planet Hulk was one of the best moments in that book. Like,
I don't remember that one.
okay, I'll make it quick because I know
Yeah.
we're on a time thing. He was Hulk. The Planet Hulk was basically Conan the Barbarian. Like,
Yeah.
he just started as a slave, as a slave, and like in the arena pits, and worked his way, and eventually became, and was never Banner. He
Yeah.
spent the entire time as Hulk because he was not the strongest person. He was pretty average for this planet.
Yeah.
And by the end of the book, he had like become emperor and had a wife and was
Yeah.
and there was a scene finally with his wife where she's like, "I know you can change. You have to do this now." And like the end of the book is him becoming Banner for her, and like she's this giant and he just becomes this small pink thing, and it's like this really intense emotional
Oh my
moment
God.
where like his
I
with
had
his
totally
vulnerability-
forgotten about
it's
that.
so amazing. It's so amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So Thor will have a shaved head, according to this rumor.
I want the mullet.
And Tessa Thompson, who's playing Valkyrie, will sport war paint and skew a more primal look.
Cool.
So I think
Into
that's
it?
cool.
Yeah.
So Hemsworth at Wizard World Philadelphia this past week talked about the show. By the show, I mean Thor 3, Ragnarok. You know, that
Show.
little-
You know
Talked
that-
about Arthur.
That little ditty.
that little ditty called
That-
Thor,
yeah, uh-huh.
called Thor Ragnarok.
Talking
He
picture.
said, I think tonally it's a
Little
big
talkie.
shift in a great way, more than anything we've seen before. Taika Waititi, the film's director, is an incredible sort of comedic talent. It's a very different Thor. It's a different Loki. We go off on another world that we haven't experienced before. It's fun, but that's me scripting the issue because I can't say too much. So, again, the only reason I'm even quoting that is because he talks about it's completely tonally different film from the other
That's
two Thor
interesting.
films. And he says we go off on another world, which that's all been kind of rumored and everything. We haven't seen official synopses yet. They're starting to film. I think they go to Australia sometime over the summer to film. So
That is
they haven't even
another
started
world.
that yet. But he's saying it's off on another world that we haven't seen. So like that to me seems to support all the Planet
all
Hulk
these
stuff
rumors.
that we're hearing. Because again, we haven't heard anything official from Marvel. Like up to this point, we're like, it's Planet Hulk, but it might end up being like, no, we're going to the Frost Giants land. Like,
Planet Ragnarok.
yeah. So
Planet Dance.
Yeah.
Hiddleston, also at Philadelphia Wizard World, said, let's not forget that it's no secret that the Hulk shows up in Ragnarok, and the last time Loki and Hulk were in the same room, it didn't go very well for Loki, so he's got a few chips on his shoulder. And I just like
Yeah.
It did not go so well
yeah,
for Loki.
remember that time? So like I think it'll be interesting to see Loki maybe on like kind of on higher ground this time, be like, hey Hulk, remember this? Like how's puny Hulk? Like I think it's gonna be kind of that kind
I
of thing.
don't think they would ever put Loki and Hulk like facing off in this one. I feel like that wouldn't be the place, but I could totally see Loki
Walking him.
pulling some like classic mischief god, stuff like changing the battlefield a little bit. You know, maybe sending out some of his own agents, but I feel like it's not going to be him, Hulk versus Loki.
If this is Bill and Ted, does that make Loki Rufus?
Yeah, dude.
Someone in the live chat said what we do in Asgard, and it made me chuckle out loud.
So I do want to, before we jump to talking to our Marvelites real fast, I want to end with this. Goldblum talking about the Grandmaster, who I can only imagine how he actually sounded when he was saying this. He says...
Are you going to do a Goldblum impression?
I can try. I don't know how good it will be. I will try.
Try it.
So here's the quote with me doing my best Goldblum. He's a hedonist, a pleasure seeker, an enjoyer of life, and tastes and smells. I'm working on my part every day. I'm a sponge. Researching Taika Waititi is encouraging me to improvise and make it my own, and that's what I'm trying to do. I hope he doesn't throw me out on the first day. How was that?
Not
pretty
bad.
good.
Not bad.
Was it pretty good?
Not
Thank
bad.
you. Thank you, Cosmic Couch. I appreciate it.
I'm excited. This is, to be fair, also not the first blue alien that Jeff Goldblum has played.
Oh, who else has he played?
I'm a little disappointed. Anybody?
I don't actually.
No.
Earth Girls Are Easy, please.
I have not thought of that movie in so long.
I don't think most
I don't
people have.
Just
understand
opened
how
the
your
pocket
brain
of my
works.
brain that
I
hadn't,
don't
like, been
know how your
accessed.
brain works now.
Now I'm there. I'm
Yeah,
there.
no.
Wow.
What's it like
on your planet?
I find it interesting that he says he's a hedonist, a pleasure seeker. Like, that's something that I've never seen the Grandmaster as. Like, the Grandmaster's just like, I want to see you guys fight. Do it.
It makes more sense that way.
But it makes total sense to characterize him that way. I also find it interesting that he's going to be filming for 3 to 4 weeks.
So he's in it.
So he's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, like, with The Collector, with Benicio del Toro, who was, like, an adopted brother as to the Grandmaster, it was probably just, like, maybe a week, tops, for that. So that was more of a, like, very extended special guest cameo sort of thing.
Right.
Whereas this is like, oh, he's in it. Like, I think he is the Grandmaster of Planet Hulk and the reason all of you guys are fighting.
I feel like the one big thing I pull from that quote is the difference between Marvel and a lot of other studios is that one quote shows how much he's invested in the character and how much they've invested in a supporting character that no one knows the Grandmaster.
Yeah.
No one, like, is out there with a Grandmaster tattoo in their chest. If you have one, send it to me.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Tweet me. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a character that people are like, Spider-Man. Like, it's not this guy. And he's an actor of all acclaim. He's an actor that could play anyone, and he's investing this much in that, and Marvel's shaped a character that could be that, and that's the difference. There are no small parts, and that's true for actors and Marvel, and that's beautiful, and that's why their movies feel like they do.
Yeah,
and I love it.
They feel like a world.
You've immersed yourself. You're not just picking powers and picking things for plot points. You're making characters, and this is a character.
This is mythology, and there are no small gods.
And exactly.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and I love that Goldblum said this, and I love that, like, when the directors talk about Black Panther, there's so much investment. It's so personal. There's so much care and love and heart, and that shows when you make something that's for money. If you make something that's just for commerce or capitalism, you're not going to really get a lot out of it. When you make something that is for money, you make a lot of money, but you care. And this happens, you make art, and that's the difference. Like, these are art films with $250 million budgets, and that's sexy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm really excited. That quote made me so happy.
Well said.
I'm with you.
Tangent day.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. So let's turn our attention real fast to our Merry Marvelites. First of all, a giant congratulations to @uncivilizedAMO, aka Adam Ortiz, because he tweeted at us, "Hey guys, I'm a father now. How about a birthday shout out to my baby girl Natalia, who was born this morning?"
Aw, happy birthday!
Happy
born today
actual
day!
birthday! Like,
That's really cool. Happy birthday.
so
You did it.
You're dad now.
You're-
You procreated.
This is the hardest day you're going to have for like 19 years.
Yes.
the hardest but most wonderful day.
But-
I would imagine. I don't have a child myself.
No, I think
No, I was
it's
talking about
his
to the
wife's
I was talking about the
hardest
child. I was
day.
not
And
talking
then-
about the father.
Oh, gotcha.
No,
I thought
that's
you were
like
talking to the father.
No, that was
You're
his
talking-
toughest
you're
day
talking
until
to
like
Natalia.
the SATs. Yeah,
Right.
Natalia.
Natalia, that's
Cool
her name.
name.
My
Good
baby
choice.
girl,
Nice.
Natalia.
See, I'm thinking about the woman who physically pushed that baby out of her body, and maybe it was her hardest day.
Yeah, that's probably very true.
Out of the three that we're talking about, the baby didn't really do much.
I make it a point not to think about women.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably it's the hardest day of the baby's life because the baby's only had one day.
That's true. No, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tomorrow might be the hardest day.
We don't know yet.
It's been
As of
nice
right
in
now,
spa,
this is the
that's all
hardest
I
day.
know.
Big hustle.
Yeah.
So
Things
anyway,
were so simpler when you were 1 day year old.
Pharaoh Comics at Pharaoh Comics says, what are the odds we will see Thanos appear in Thor to skibidi bop everything up? So we're not supposed to say that. So skibidi bop it up. So do you think we're gonna see Thanos in Thor?
I don't think they will do a post-credit scene. I think if we see Thanos in Thor, it'll actually be as a character, because I think we've all been like, cool, bros in credit space. Like, I feel like he's literally in credit space. So I think if he's in it, he's a character, and I think he'll be involved with the Grandmaster, he'll be involved in the fights.
Yeah.
If not, don't touch him.
Yeah.
Let Brolin do his thing and eat some croissants somewhere.
I think they will, just because, and it's not a definite, but I think they will just because I know that they feel that Thor is a tougher sell, and this is just another way to kind of be like, if you want to be in on what's going on, you gotta go to the theater and see Thor. See Thor this weekend. It's got continuity.
Continuity in the form of a cosmic demigod.
Big purple chunk of continuity.
I think that he's not going to skibidi bop anything up. I think at most he's going to appear in the stands along with Grandmaster watching.
High-fiving.
Yeah, he's going to be like, so those are the Earthlings that I'm up against to go to get that gem? Whatever. Like, I think it's going to be, I think that's as much as we'll see Thanos.
Maybe he's buying the winners to turn them into more nebulas.
Yeah, maybe. That's not a bad idea.
Or putting like Nocturne. What's her name? Midnight. Nocturne on Midnight.
Not. What,
The current nebula.
the current nebula?
His little girl Friday.
I don't know.
Midnight
Like
Nocturne.
in what book?
In the Infinity crossover that just went. She was also a member of the
I haven't
Cabal.
read that one yet. I haven't read. Oh,
and
you're
Secret-
talking about
Nocturnal
Proxima
Midnight. Proxima Midnight.
Yeah,
Thank
Proxima
you.
Midnight. Yeah. Maybe that would be cool. I like that character a lot.
I do too.
And finally, we want to end with Caleb B. Caleb B, by the way, is the one who gave you the Deadpool stopwatch. Gave us these cool things. Gave Meredith her cool little Emma Frost
I
Lego.
love that stopwatch.
He said, "Y'all got me back into comics. First buy since childhood. Caught up on X-92, Rebirth Superman, and AA." He said AA is next. I don't.
Avengers Arena?
Avengers Arena, Avengers Academy. I don't know, but he said AA is next. So, congratulations! I'm glad you're back into it, Caleb. That's awesome. Thanks
That's
for
really
letting us
cool.
know, and thanks for the
Yay,
awesome
thank
gifts that you
you.
gave us last year. Anyway, that is our show. Do you
I got
guys
a
have any-
shout out. Jeff
shout
Dunn
out.
in the live chat. Jeff Dunn, happy birthday.
Jeff Dunn, happy
Happy
birthday!
birthday, Jeff.
I've also got iTunes. Let's see. Great podcast from TD Yanks 23. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We do what we can. The Moth Wrangler said, yay! All about it! Exclamation points, my
Yeah.
jam. Great podcast from Cape Dad. We appreciate a nice
Cape
long
Dad.
review. Thanks, man. And
From Cape Dad?
Yeah, and some Deadpool love. Cheers.
All right.
And then we
Chimichanga.
got Sep13, who I've seen review stuff before and is often in the live chat and often tweets us, left us 5 stars on the 31st of May.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. They felt the same way about X-Men. And Fisty Fiesta can no longer be entertained by this dribble. Thanks.
Oh.
Now-
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
More
Fisty.
fisting.
More,
apparently.
yeah, more fisting, less fiesta.
But hey, we got a bunch of 5 stars. Thank you for the kind words and taking the time, because I know you guys are busy. Like, it's cool to take the time to review something on the internet. I've never done that. Yelp's a crazy thing to me. So you guys took this time. That's bitchin'. Thanks. And I'm sorry about my tangents this week. I need more sleep and less internet time.
I like your
And
tangents.
I love
I
you
love-
guys so much, and you guys are the good corner of the internet, and overall, I've never had a bad interaction that lasted more than 12 seconds, and we always, solve things, and you guys are great on the YouTubes and the Twitters, and you're amazing, because you're comic fans that invest in each other and us and
Yeah,
comics.
thank you.
And that's
thank you for
awesome.
investing in us. We
Yes.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
World needs more good fans.
I try to say it every week, and it sounds like a broken record, but I think it's important all 7 days, so if I can say it once a week, thanks.
Yeah.
Smiling, you idiot. You're supposed to be a professional.
All right, so we've got to wrap it up. We can find you on Critical Role. Where else can we find you guys?
You go first.
Well, you can find us on Twitter, for
Find us
sure.
on Twitter.
At Marisha_Ray.
And at Executive Goth.
And definitely go check out Signal Boost, also on Geek and Sundry Network. It's running right now.
Right now.
And tune in later to catch the Mr. Matt Key
I will
here
be on
down
it at
the
some
road.
point.
This is like a super early leaky announcement
Yes.
that you're going to be
Ooh.
on. Super early.
Yeah, super. It's exclusive.
Exclusive!
And Critical Role is on Thursday nights
Critical
at what time?
Role is at Thursday nights at 7 p.m. till whenever we finish.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun, and we're always hopping around the internet in all sorts of places doing fun stuff. So,
Yeah.
you can can see us everywhere. And
Yeah.
again,
And
back
you-
alley.
And do you have some VO stuff that you guys can talk about?
Oh, right.
It's
Sure.
a-
Our day jobs. Yeah.
It's like a week before E3. I'm on so many NDAs right now.
It is a
Fair.
week before
That's fair.
E3.
That's
We
fair.
don't have a whole lot to talk about that you probably don't already know about.
I'm about to start
Fair.
directing an anime called Skip Beat, and that's going to be like the
Nice.
next 2 months of my life.
That's awesome.
Working on a show about actors in Japan. It's going to be
Congrats.
great.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think the most recent. Oh well, you can catch me in Lego Marvel.
Yeah, you're in Lego Marvel.
In Lego Marvel, I'm a Shield
I know,
scientist.
I
Did you
found
finally
you.
found me?
I
Because I know
finally
you
found
said
you,
you were
yeah.
having a hard time finding
Yeah,
me.
fine. Well, you do the Shield scientist, but you also aren't you like one of the voices of the people running around town too, and the, like.
Probably.
I think I've heard your voice there too.
Probably.
I
you
play the
can
game just
hear me
going
there.
like, where's Marisha? Where's like just
right.
hours just looking for you.
I'm in Lego Jurassic Park, but I don't know what other Lego stuff I can talk about. 'Cause I don't
know.
remember because
I
they're all kind of funny and weird.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Yeah.
Coy, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at COYJANDRU. I recently got an agent for all this hosting jazz, and I'm really happy. I can't say who it is, but it's really fucking exciting. And I also just shot a VR short with an amazing cast and crew, and it's going to be released in VR and in 3D.
Is that the one
and
where you had
Red.
orange nipples?
I had orange nipples.
Cool.
It's
Okay.
so cool. It's interactive in
What?
VR, so it's like playing Doom, but with actors, and there's 7 stunts happening simultaneously, so watching it's the craziest thing in the world.
Wait,
Can't-
what VR? All like
Oculus
all of
Rift,
Oculus?
like going through it, and I can't reveal much more than that because it's like NDA-tastic, but the fact that I did it was the coolest thing, and acting with people like in a VR environment is amazing, and I can't wait to release it and show you guys all, because we're going to try to make it a bigger thing. So it's really cool, and it's been the craziest month of my life, which is why I'm underslept and why I'm tangenting, and you guys are my like anchor, so thank you. And send me stuff on Twitter and Instagram, and much love.
Yeah. All right. I produce Fat Man on Batman. I'm also doing stuff with CCHQ. You can watch us over there. And I do this on Tuesdays now. Sorry we had to move it, but it was Tuesdays.
But Matt's
Tuesdays at
here.
11. But I can do it now. Yay!
Matt's back. I'm really excited Matt's back.
Yeah. I hated being away.
And Matt, if I could,
Doom is speaking!
Doom speaks. Doom also can't officially announce this yet, but if you're a fan of science fiction, stay tuned to my Twitter for some cool stuff coming down the road.
Skip up boop. I don't know what that means. Just skip
Is
up.
that the ultimate skibbity-bop
Yeah,
out
that's
of
the
here?
ultimate skibbity-bop. Yeah. All right, we've got to wrap it up. Follow us on Twitter at Marvel News PTN or on Facebook /Marvel News Show. Find us on YouTube /Popcorn Talk Network. Just search for our show there. Thank you very much for joining us this week. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Kristian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.
All right, hey. All right, good job, guys. Let's just not come in tomorrow. Let's just take a day.